Good morning. Right, it's really early this morning. I've been up since stupid o'clock. I was actually sleeping last night, which is quite a rarity. And then someone called, stupid me, didn't have my phone off. Someone called me at 4 o'clock in the morning from New Zealand, and I've been up since then. So I'm going to get this done. I wasn't going to record anything today, but people said that the sound was absolutely atrocious on yesterday's video. Absolute apologies for that. Not quite sure what went on there, but hopefully we're back on track again now. Right, where are we? As you can see from the thumbnail of the baby, the tiny baby in the face masks, things are getting stupid now and dangerous. So dangerous. I said yesterday on yesterday's video, I'd seen on Marketplace on Facebook, someone asking for a unicorn face mask to be made for a 6-year-old. 6-year-olds don't need them. And if 6-year-olds don't need them, tiny weeny babies don't need them. Do we remember all the baby on the back campaign because of cot death and stuff like that? And then we have the sleeping bags where basically you keep your baby warm, but the arms and the head and the little straps there to stop the babies sort of kicking blankets up on themselves and covering their mouths and increasing the risk of SIDS. I cannot believe what is going on here. I am just, I'm not going to say I'm beside myself, but this is just like accidents waiting to happen, and it's not cute. Babies are cute. They are designed in such a way, just like the rest of us, that we can breathe perfectly healthily without having our faces covered. When has this ever been needed? When has this ever been needed? Was it needed during bird flu? Was it needed during swine flu, which I think to date probably killed, I think it's something like 56 million more people than this one has, and schools weren't shut, nothing was shut, and it went away. Something different with this one? Well, please tell us what is so different with this one that now we've got this absolute lunacy going on. I said yesterday, I'm so ranty this morning, I'm so ranty. I said yesterday that Boris hadn't really come out with how long this whole mask situation was supposed to go on for. Well, I found something, is it here? Let's have a look. I found something, oh no, that's something else that Boris has been up to. We'll go into this on another day. I found something yesterday, she said now 3 times. Apparently it's looking, well, it's being kicked around that this could go on until the summer next year. Why? Stupidity, absolute stupidity. Anyway, right, so I found some information not that long ago on the reduction in SIDS during the lockdown. Now, this has been disputed, and to be honest, we're not going to find out. We're not going to find out until the end, well, the early part of next year. Now, what bothers me is if the people are restricting babies' breathing, then this can never be proved one way or another. And the thing is, you have to do in-depth studies to prove something. So I found an article, and it was backed up to a degree. And now I found like other articles like later on saying it's a load of horse shit. Is it? Well, we don't know yet, do we? That during this lockdown, because people have not been going to their GP surgeries and they've been putting off immunisations during this period, rates of SIDS have gone down. Now, there was Vera Scheibner and her husband. Now, Vera Scheibner you have to be a bit careful with, because yes, she is a PhD, and she did help us with the trial with Charlotte. She did help us, but we could never use her as a medical expert. And the reason that we couldn't was because it was her husband who done the studies on the children. This is like absolutely years ago, and he passed away. Now, whilst Vera Scheibner is a PhD, she's a PhD in micropaleontology, so that's not medical, it's fossils and stuff. Am I saying that she's right or wrong? No, I'm not at all. Like, the information that she gave me, she's a brilliant researcher, an absolutely brilliant researcher. But there we go. So but the studies aren't done. Studies aren't done. When you try and drill down on Freedom of Information Act, the exact ages of cot deaths, you don't get it. You'll get the cot deaths between, say, 3 weeks and 18 months. Yeah, but I want to know how many is the 8-week period, the 12-week period, the 16-week period, and so on. I want to find that out, because I believe that these reactions happen within day 1 to day 12. That's the information that I've managed to find out, and that's from real parents who believe the same as what I do. Not telling you not to get your baby vaccinated, not telling you that at all. So oh yeah, here it is. This is the face mask. Face mask for another year. PM suggests face coverings in shops could remain until next summer, as he admits government could have done things differently and ministers didn't understand coronavirus for months. Well, they still don't, do they? Like, they still don't. It's purposely made so cloudy that no one can get their head around it, and no one can drill anyone down on anything, apart from all we're hearing is vaccine, 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 and fear, fear, fear. That's about the only common trait with this. So that's enough of that. While we're on the topic, I've been putting it off for quite a while, just because it's not the easiest thing to do. Excuse me, this is coffee. This is how early this is today. I've been putting it off and I need to do this. And now, while we've got people risking their children through putting face masks on like they're some bloody cute fashion accessory, no, they're not. It's fucking dangerous, you morons. But if they're not, I don't know why this isn't on the news every single day of the week, telling parents do not do this. Do not do this to your children under the age of 11. I mean, do not do it to your children, full stop. But I don't know why this is dangerous. So I thought I'd do the timeline, the dates of when Charlotte got her vaccines up until the time that we turned life support off for her. And I don't say up until the day that she died, because she was artificially brought back to life. So I'll explain that as I go along. Right, so the vaccines that Charlotte got was DTaP, which is diphtheria, tetanus and pertussis. She got polio orally, and she got meningitis. And that was on the 21st of November. And that was late afternoon. It was about, well, not late afternoon, it was about 3:30, because then I had to go and get Sam from school after. So that's how I know what time that was, because the doctor's surgery was right next to the school. So I know it was that time, because I went straight from there and then came and collected Sam. And I think at that time they finished at 4:45. So I can be quite clear on that. I can't remember the finite detail on everything now, because it was a long time ago. And when you're in trauma, there's stuff that you don't remember. And then I do remember stuff, but I can't remember exactly. I can't pinpoint exactly when everything did happen, because it went on for such a long time. Right. So she didn't seem that, she wasn't that bothered on day 1 that evening. The following day was a whole different story. She was up that night, projectile vomiting, didn't really have a temperature, didn't have a temperature. She was just really, really miserable. So you're told, put it down to the vaccine. That's what I was told. That was on the 22nd. That day was awful. I phoned a GP surgery up. They said, don't worry about it. Give her Calpol, which is like infant paracetamol for anyone that is overseas, and she'll be all right. And that was it. Like, they think I'm like this over panicking mum, which I was. Right, so her first doctor visit was the 23rd, and he basically looked her over and said, yeah, she is really miserable, but yeah, she'll be all right. There's nothing wrong with her. I can see nothing wrong with her. Second doctor visit was on the 25th. Now, I can't remember why I didn't take her to this doctor visit. I believe I had a work appointment, so it was my husband at the time. He was at home with her so that I could do this appointment. So that was on the 25th. I got, so he'd called me and said, she's really no better. I'm not happy with this. I'm taking her back to the doctors. And I was like, well, they're just not listening. Go on, you have a go then. They might listen to you. And they did. And they referred her to the hospital because now she's not eating. And the tiniest bit of food that she is having, she's retching to the point that it was stomach bile coming up and just inconsolable. So that was the 25th, and she got sent to the hospital. So I dropped what I was doing. I think I was a reasonable distance away and went to Winchester Hospital. Now, not a lot really happened in Winchester Hospital because she'd had no food. They couldn't take a urine sample, and that was pretty traumatic in itself. There were things that happened in Winchester Hospital that they were sending us out the room for. I don't know. I remember that one of them was trying to put a drip in her. And I can't remember if my ex-husband stayed in the room at that time, but he sent me out and the nurses sent me out because apparently it's really quite distressing on a baby that small. So that was about it. She'd lost more weight during this time, so she hadn't improved at all. She hadn't improved, so she was discharged on the 27th. She shouldn't have been discharged on the 27th because she still wasn't feeding and she was losing weight. Right, this was late on the 27th. The 28th was no improvement, so I took her back to the hospital again on the 29th. Again, nothing was done. She'd lost even more weight. She still wasn't feeding. Now, they were trying to tell me that it wasn't the vaccines. It's all in her medical notes that I keep saying this. They're making me out like I'm some fucking fruit bat for keep saying it. She was all right until these, like it has to be them. It's in her medical notes. Mother thinks it's vaccine related. Pretty much, ha ha, what a fucking lunatic. So she's discharged again on the 1st of December when she shouldn't have been. By their own rules, she shouldn't have been. And we were told to bring her back to go and see a paediatrician on the Sunday morning. Was it Sunday? Yeah, the Sunday morning, which was the 2nd of December. She had her appointment, I think about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Now, my mum and my sister were coming down as I got into with Richie Allen interviews. Don't know if I did so much with Sean interview because I didn't do a good job on it. I know I didn't do a good job on it because the nerves just got me. Don't know why. Just did. Good days and bad days, isn't it? Like, you know. So, she was weighed again on the 2nd. She'd lost more weight. The paediatrician saw her, basically fobbed, because my mum and my sister were coming down. We had his kids round and also like my son. I stayed at home because my mum and my sister were coming down, and they were coming down like welcome home the patient, like phew, thank goodness she's all right. Because this is what we were being told by the hospital. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And you want to trust your doctor. Don't trust any of them now. Don't trust any of them now. So my ex-husband, he took her down there and brought her back. Probably got back to the house. It's probably about a 25-minute drive. So he would have got back probably 12:30, 12:30, something like that. Can't remember exactly. I'm cooking roast chicken. You know, my mum's fussing over Charlotte, like, and all the kids are running around, and it was just chaos. Half the street we're in, because that's how we had our life then. You know, the house was always full of children, open door policy, and where we lived, we were lucky because all of the children in the close were all around the same age, give or take a few years. So it was nice. It was nice for them. So that was the 2nd of December. My ex said I was cooking dinner, trying to get everyone to wash their hands and all the rest of it, dishing up dinner. And Charlotte needed a feed. So by this time she was being bottle fed. So because it was chaos downstairs, he said, oh, I'll take her upstairs, I'll feed her. Now my mum got the hump about this because she wanted to feed her. But because it was so difficult to get her to eat anything, I wanted him to take her upstairs, where it was quiet because we had a sofa in our nursery, like we had a cot in there and a sofa kind of thing. And so he went up there and fed her. So this would have now been about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:30. And then I just heard him call up, and that's when Charlotte collapsed. And the rest everybody knows, like what happened. So the ambulance gets called, the ambulance can't find the house, I can't resuscitate her because I'm panicking. I get a friend to come round, I send my sister to go and get a friend to come round, and she tries to resuscitate. The emergency doctor turns up, then the ambulance turns up, then we go to Winchester, and then she then gets transferred to Great Ormond Street. Excuse me, not an easy story. And I think we know the rest, right? There was zero hope. Oh God, I'm sorry about this. Pull your shit together, Sharon. I'm gonna pause this. Right, I am so sorry about that. Just lost it there. Right, so anyway, we were in Great Ormond Street. Nothing good was going to happen. We were treated not by the nurses, but by the paediatricians there like we were worst scum on earth, like the absolute worst scum on earth, to the point that actually there was a social worker called, what was her name? Maggie O'Hara. And she was in on one of the meetings that we had with one of these paediatricians, and she actually told us that the way he treated us was so disgusting that we ought to put a formal complaint in. But then obviously with what happened after, that was the least of my worries at that time. And actually this was the only decent social worker I've ever met in my entire life, because this lady wrote to me for a good few years after, and I wrote to her back, you know. It was needed. So life support was turned off on the 4th. So we'll just add up the days here. The first vaccine was one on the 21st of November, and she died on the 2nd, really, because she was artificially brought back to life. So we've got an extra couple of days there. And then, as everybody knows, from that we had the police everywhere anyway. From that, we were both arrested on the 5th. Not a single test had been done on Charlotte, and not a single result had come back. Nothing, like absolutely nothing. I'll get into the greater detail of the doctors covering their asses at Winchester Hospital, and this was instantaneous. The moment that Charlotte went back to Winchester Hospital on the 2nd, that was when the whole ball started rolling. But I'm going to leave it at that because I just wanted to do the timeline. I've got loads to do today. We've got loads to do the next couple of days, so I might go a bit quiet till maybe Wednesday evening or Thursday morning. Today is parcels getting delivered, and you don't know when they give you the thing of like any time between 7 in the morning and 8 o'clock at night. You know what's going to happen. I've got 4 parcels being delivered and a Tesco shopping getting delivered. You know what's going to happen. It will be, nothing will happen all day, and they'll all turn up between 6:30 and 7:30. All right, the Tesco food is coming at about 3, but like so, and then the next couple of days I've got to be sort of like out and about. Just got stuff to do. So if I go a bit quiet, apologies for that, but I will. I don't know, does everyone want to hear this misery again in like more detail, or should we carry on in the way that we are with just like what's going on like now, or a mixture of both? I mean, I don't really know. Maybe the bits that were missed out, because it's impossible to get everything that happened over all those years and is still happening now into 2-hour Richie. All right, I know I've done 4 hours with Richie, but even then, it's you know, you try and section it off, and it's really difficult to do. So maybe it will be good, because there have been a lot of questions. I will get into what is written in the newspaper about all these fractures on Charlotte. Well, I don't know, should fucking sue them for it, because it was completely like not true. It was not true. So I'll get into that as to why it wasn't true in the future. Anyway, sorry, this is a really heavy video, isn't it, for a Monday morning? So I apologise about that, but what with these babies in masks and that, it's kind of set me off today, because I just can't get my head around why anyone would think that was a good idea. And it kind of like seemed the right time to actually bring the timeline of what happened with Charlotte. The last thing I want to do is go out and see babies looking like that, because it is turning into a fashion accessory for people, for children, for babies. This is not a fashion accessory. It is dangerous. And I don't like it that I'm seeing, because I've put this thing up, people saying it's child abuse. No, it isn't. It's stupidity. It's stupidity because people are being fed it. Yeah, they're not saying that babies need them, but they're not actually saying how damn dangerous it is. They're not saying that. So this needs to stop. And we can't go around vilifying people for falling for this and thinking they're doing the right thing. How can I stand there and criticise anybody when, look, I gave Charlotte the vaccines. I didn't fight in that hospital because I chose to trust them. I'm not anyone to throw darts at people. It's just not a nice way to be. It's not a nice way to be with people when this is naivety mixed in with stupidity that the government have been happy to feed us. So anyway, apologies for this miserable video. Apologies for the snot and tears. Have a good week, everyone. It's absolutely hosing it down with rain this morning here in Portsmouth. But hey, the flowers will like it. And actually my hay fever's not as bad this morning, so hopefully all the pollen or pollution, whatever it is that's making me get a sore throat and itchy nose and eyes and all the rest of it, whatever it is stuck to the floor again, not floating around. So we needed a bit of rain down here. It's been really dry. It has been really dry. So anyway, much love to you and yours. Have a really good week. Don't let the stupidity get you down, and take very good care, and I'll catch up with you in a few days. All right, bye.